There are three kinds of guys in this world. The first kind spends years trying to decode women like they're breaking military encryption. The second kind gives up entirely and decides women are impossible to understand. Then there's the third kind, the guys who figured out the one thing that makes everything else irrelevant. And honestly, I used to be the first kind, obsessing over every word, every pause, every micro-expression, turning simple conversations into psychological dissertations. I was mentally exhausted, she was exhausted, and nothing worked consistently. But then one day at the bar, I watched this completely average guy effortlessly connect with a woman who'd rejected 3 other men that same night. No pickup lines, no games, just something so fundamentally different it made my stomach drop because I realized how wrong I'd been about everything. Dr. John Gottman's 30-year study of over 3,000 couples revealed something that destroys every dating strategy you've ever heard. The men who succeed with women long-term aren't the ones who master complex psychological tactics. They understand one simple truth that most guys completely miss. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that truth is, but let me warn you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. Every confusing interaction you've ever had will suddenly make perfect sense, and you might get angry at how much time you've wasted overcomplicating something that was always simple. Think about the last time a woman's behavior completely blindsided you. She was interested one week, cold the next, and you probably spent hours trying to figure out what went wrong. Now, I need you to hold on to that memory because I'm about to show you why that confusion was actually protecting you from a reality you weren't ready to handle. By the way, we have noticed that a lot of you are watching our videos, but you're not subscribed to the channel yet, so make sure to smash that subscribe button and never miss out on our future uploads. Oh, and if you have a specific video you want to see on this channel, I need you to drop it in the comments. I'll make a video on the most upvoted comment. But here's the brutal truth. Women aren't mysterious. Your approach to women is mysterious to them. You're speaking a language they don't recognize, playing by rules they never agreed to, and you're expecting results from a game you're not even playing correctly. Most men think understanding women means cracking some secret code, reading between the lines, analyzing every interaction like it's life or death. But that's exactly backward. The guy I watched, he wasn't analyzing anything. He was doing something so basic it sounds stupid when you first hear it, but it works every single time because it taps into how women actually think, not how you think they think. Women operate on emotional reality, not logical reality. And no, that's not an insult. In fact, it's the key to understanding women. While you're stuck in your head running calculations, she's reading energy, sensing authenticity, and responding to what she feels from you in real time. Here's what I mean. You text her, "Hey, how was your day?" But she doesn't respond for 4 hours. What's next? Your brain immediately creates a story. She's losing interest. She's talking to someone else. You messed up yesterday. But the actual reality? She was in back-to-back meetings, forgot to check her phone, then saw your message when she was stressed about something that's completely unrelated to you. You're creating complexity where none exists. You're adding a narrative where there's just life happening. But that guy at the bar understood this instinctively. When she mentioned being tired from work, he didn't try to solve her problems or give advice. He didn't analyze whether this was a test or a hint. He just acknowledged what she was feeling. That sounds exhausting. 3 words, but she lit up like he just understood something profound about her soul. Most men would have launched into problem-solving mode. Have you tried talking to your boss? Maybe you should look for a new job. Or, here's what I would do. Meanwhile, she's thinking, this guy has no idea what I actually need right now. Listen, women don't share problems because they want solutions. They share problems because they want to be heard. This isn't some deep psychological mystery. It's basic human nature that men consistently miss because we're naturally wired to fix things. Think about how you interact with your best friend when he's complaining about something. You don't immediately jump into advisor mode. You listen, you relate, you acknowledge his experience, but the moment a woman shares something, your brain switches into repair technician mode. She says her coworker was rude to her, and you start strategizing how she should handle workplace conflict. She mentions feeling overwhelmed, and you're already building her a productivity system. She tells you about family drama, and you're ready to mediate like you're running the United Nations. Stop. Just stop. What if I told you that 90% of the time, she already knows what she needs to do? She's not looking for your input on the solution. She's looking for your input on her experience. She wants you to witness what she's going through, not fix what she's going through. This is why that conversation at the bar worked. He wasn't trying to be her life coach. He was being present with her reality. When she laughed about her ridiculous commute, he laughed with her. When she seemed frustrated about her roommate situation, he reflected that frustration back. Sounds like she's driving you crazy. Simple, direct, no agenda. But here's where most guys get tripped up. They think this means becoming some passive yes man who just agrees with everything she says. Wrong. Dead wrong. Being present with her reality doesn't mean you lose your backbone. It means you understand the difference between connection and correction. The strongest men I know can hold space for someone else's experience without needing to change it, fix it, or improve it. Now, here's what changed everything for me. I stopped trying to be right and started trying to be real. I stopped analyzing her words for hidden meanings and started paying attention to her energy. I stopped preparing my next response while she was talking and started actually listening to what she was saying. And the results were immediate. Conversations flowed easier, the tension disappeared, and she started opening up about things she'd never shared before. Not because I'd unlocked some secret technique, but because I'd finally stopped making everything about me. See, when you're constantly trying to decode what she means, you're making the conversation about your need to understand rather than her need to be understood. When you're jumping into solution mode, you're making her problem about your ability to fix things rather than her experience of having the problem. Women can sense this instantly. They know when you're listening to respond versus listening to connect. They can feel when you're present with them versus present with your own agenda. And they'll shut down faster than you can say, let me help you with that. Robert Cialdini's research on influence revealed something crucial. People don't connect with those who try to impress them. They connect with those who make them feel impressive. That guy at the bar wasn't trying to showcase his wisdom or problem-solving skills. He was creating space for her to be fully herself. When she told a story about her weekend hiking trip, he didn't compete with his own adventure stories. He asked questions that let her relive the experience. What was the view like from the top? Not because he cared about the view, but because he could see her face light up when she talked about it. But this is the part that might sting. Most of your conversations with women have been about you trying to demonstrate your value instead of recognizing theirs. You've been auditioning for approval rather than creating connection. Think about your last date. How much time did you spend trying to impress her versus being impressed by her? How often did you steer the conversation toward your accomplishments, your opinions, your expertise? How many times did you interrupt her story to share a similar one of your own? That's not connection, that's competition, and women can smell it from across the room. The shift is simple, but not easy. Instead of asking yourself, how do I show her I'm worth her time? Start asking, what makes her worth mine? Instead of wondering, what does she think of me? Start wondering, what is she actually experiencing right now? This flips everything upside down. When you're genuinely curious about her inner world instead of worried about your performance in it, something magical happens. The pressure disappears for both of you. She stops feeling like she's being interviewed for a position and starts feeling like she's being seen as a person. You stop feeling like you're walking on eggshells and start feeling like you're having an actual conversation. The whole dynamic shifts from evaluation to exploration. But here's where it gets a bit tricky. The moment you stop trying to be interesting, you become interesting. The moment you stop trying to impress her, you start impressing her. The moment you stop performing, you start connecting. Seems confusing, right? Actually, it's not. I learned this the hard way with Sarah 3 years ago. Every conversation felt like a chess match where I was calculating 3 moves ahead. What would make her laugh? What would make her see me as boyfriend material? What response would move me closer to getting what I wanted? She disappeared after 6 weeks, and when I asked why, her answer surprised me. I never felt like you actually knew me. You knew how to react to me, but you didn't know me. And she was right. I'd been so busy managing her impression of me that I'd never actually formed an impression of her. I could tell you her favorite restaurant, but not why she loved going there. I knew her job title, but not what made her passionate about her work. I'd memorized her surface, but never touched her depth. That's when I realized most men are operating from a fundamental misunderstanding about attraction. We think women are attracted to men who are impressive, but women are actually attracted to men who find them impressive. There's a massive difference. One is needy, one is generous. Watch how this plays out in real time. An average guy meets an attractive woman. His first instinct? Prove he's worthy of her attention, list his accomplishments, display his wit, demonstrate his social status. He's essentially saying, here's why you should like me. But the guy who gets her, his first instinct is different. He's genuinely curious about what makes her tick. Not because he's gathering intel for future use, but because he finds people fascinating. He's essentially saying, tell me what makes you, you. Guess which approach makes her feel more valuable? When you're trying to prove your worth, you're implying she holds all the cards. But when you're exploring her worth, you're treating her like an equal. Women can sense this difference immediately, and they're drawn to the man who sees them as a person, not a prize to be won. You don't get her back by waiting. You get her back by never needing her again. But everything I just told you is useless if you're struggling with the most dangerous weakness in men today. So watch this video next, where I explain exactly what it is and how to break free completely. I'll see you there.